Good morning. This is Rich Nelson with Allendale, having a special discussion for us here. Today's date is September 12th of 2022. As far as issues for us today, we have the USDA monthly supply demand report, and this, of course, does include changes to old crop stocks as well as new crops. So let's just jump right in the numbers. As far as corn on this discussion here for stock numbers, we did see USDA move old crop stocks here to now this 1.525 billion bushel number. So they actually did lower these stock numbers, and the trade expected a small increase, so a positive there. More importantly, as far as new crop, USDA started out by dropping acreage by 1.2 million on the planted and down 1.0 million for harvested. So a good drop there, a little more than trade was expecting. Yields dropping from 175.4 now 172.5, and that was on the trade estimate here. But with the fact we had smaller acreage, this production number did decline here. 13,944 billion bushels. Last month, 14,359. And with this decline in supply, it looks like USDA did drop stocks 1.388 billion bushels last month, now 1.219. And I will point out that was relatively close to the average trade guess. So numbers as far as corn, smaller than expected production, but overall, the numbers came in relatively close to the average trade guess here. Now, as far as discussions on the world side for corn, we did see these world numbers drop just a little bit, 306.7 million tons for new crop stocks, now 304.5, and that more or less was expected. Dropping down as far as the major producers, we did see the European Union take another hit, going from 60 million tons last month, now 50.8 in terms of million tons of corn production. And speaking of China, we will also look at the fact that USDA did raise their estimate as far as Chinese corn production, 271, now 274 million tons. No changes were noted as far as the import number of 18 million tons. So as far as corn, kind of within the trade expectation, but we'll still call it positive with this general surprise on the acreage here. As far as soybeans, looks like USDA did raise the old crop stocks. In this case, from 225 million bushels last month, now 240. As far as new crop numbers, we did see them drop planted acres by a half million acres here. So keep that in mind as well. And we did see numbers on the planted side, or on the harvested side, drop by about to 600,000 acres. Now, the big issue as far as the trade focus here today would be on yields. USDA did drop yield numbers, 51.9 last month. So that was above trend. They dropped it to 50.5. And keep in mind, the average trade guess here was 51.5. There are not many firms in this lower end of the range. Allendale's number from our survey was 50.9. As far as production, 4.378 million bushels. Last month, 4.531. As far as stocks, going from 245 million bushels last month, now 200. So this does support a little higher pricing on the soybeans than what the trade really was expecting just a few weeks ago. As far as the world numbers on beans, looks like we did see a decline in stocks, 101.4 last month, now 98.9, and this is million tons. As far as major producers, no major changes there to speak of. And as far as the Chinese numbers, they did drop the new crop Chinese import 98 to now 97 million tons. That probably was not too surprising, though. And let's wrap up the discussion as far as wheat. There were no changes for production, and that's relatively common. USDA waits until September 30th when they have the annual production summary for those small grains. As far as numbers on the stocks, those were left unchanged at 610. So no major movement as far as those numbers there. And wrapping up the discussion as far as world, we did see stocks increase from 268.3, now 267.3, now 268.6. Major producers, we will point out that as far as this goes, we didn't see any major changes there to speak of. An increase for Ukraine, and this was true for a little increase for corn as well as their wheat crop. In this case, now 20.5 million tons, but there was no change in their export estimate here. So overall, this report, we've seen moderately supportive on the corn side. This would be supportive for soybeans, and as far as wheat, more or less neutral. And I certainly want to thank all producers who helped us with the annual Allendale nationwide producer survey. Guys, our survey suggested 172.4. USDA came in there at 172.5. So great job within 0.1 bushels. Soybean side, which is always a harder one to guess, our survey suggested 50.9. USDA came in here at 50.5. So within 0.4 on soybeans, Fantastic job. Again, thank you so much. Any questions about markets or marketing, give Alan Deal a call, 1-800-262-7538.